My name is Grace Northamer. I'm a sophomore and a Schulze Innovation Scholar at the University of St. Thomas. And I'm here today with Mr. Dick Schulze. Mr. Schulze is the founder and chairman emeritus of Best Buy, the world's largest multi-channel consumer electronic retailer, as well as the founder of the Richard M. Schulze Family Foundation, a philanthropic organization whose mission is to support transformational change benefiting mankind. Hi, Mr. Schulze. Thank you so much for being here today and taking the time to sit down with me. I can't wait to get some of these questions answered and hear more about your upbringing and entrepreneurial endeavors.
Thank you, Grace. And it's a pleasure and it's a privilege for me to engage with you and talk about one of my favorite subjects, which obviously is the initiative and the self-directed drive to take control of your own destiny. And that's pretty typical DNA for an entrepreneur. And not only in pursuit of your own individual business, but as I'm sure we'll touch through the course of this discussion today, even should you begin your career, engaged in working with and within a company where additional lessons can be learned and experience can be gained, which for the most part, as it was in my case, lends a tremendous amount of substance to being able to succeed in your own right.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, let's jump in. My first question for you, Mr. Schulze, is you started your entrepreneurial journey from a really young age as a paperboy, actually, for those who don't know. And for anyone who isn't familiar with your entrepreneurial upbringing, could you give us a little bit of background regarding your various entrepreneurial endeavors leading up to what we know as today's Best Buy?
Sure. Let me take a crack at that. As I think most people know, I started as a paperboy when I was 11 years old. And I had that responsibility for about 4 years. And especially a couple of things that stood out for me, even more actually than a couple of things. But while I wasn't even aware of it at that young age, the three areas that I considered to be major benefits as I grew was understanding and experiencing the importance of responsibility, diligence, and discipline. And it was manifested for me not only when I served as a paperboy for 4 years, but also when I was in the Air National Guard here in Minnesota for 6 years. Those same personality traits or characteristics really came through and helped me succeed, both in my work as a paperboy, very young, but also, in the Air National Guard, which I joined slightly before actually I got married. When I got out of high school, that's when I joined the Guard. And so being disciplined, being diligent about the responsibilities that I was taking on, guided, if you will, my behaviors for the rest of my life. And they certainly helped serve as a model for the successful outcomes that I experienced, not only as that paperboy, but also when I was a carryout boy back in the days of grocery stores in the Twin Cities that actually helped train me in personal contact with customers and side-by-side working arrangements with other employees in the grocery store. It was a Red Owl grocery store long before your time, Grace, but clearly it was in our neighborhood. I worked as a stock boy. I worked as a carryout boy. I went from there to work at Montgomery Ward's, of all places, and I was a package sortation worker on a swing shift. So I'd leave high school and head over to Montgomery Ward's, and I did package sorting from 4:30 until 11 o'clock in the evening. Then I'd come home, I'd do my homework, get to bed, get up early, and off to school I went. And then I worked after high school in part-time as an electronic parts salesperson in a distribution company in the Twin Cities. And then finally, before I actually took on my first and foremost company, I was a factory representative representing different manufacturers of high quality entertainment equipment. Sony was probably the most notable of those companies, but so was Sherwood, and so was Girard, and so was Werfdale and Sher Brothers, and multiple companies that made products that created high quality entertainment for customers. So I had a territory. I was disciplined in my pursuit of what was important, to represent those products in the marketplace. And that's where a lot of the learnings came from for me prior to launching my own career in the retail world when I started Sound of Music way back in 1966.
Awesome. I think it's so interesting that the steps feel so incremental. They kind of build up, and then all of a sudden you are an owner, and they call you the ultimate entrepreneur for your adventure that led you into Best Buy. And something I've heard you talk about along that journey is the way you actually left your job. Was it at the supermarket, I believe, because you had a new idea about stocking shelves? Would you touch on that for me?
Sure. When I was at Red Owl, I did both carry out work to people's cars from the checkout lanes, and also I stocked shelves from the products or the groceries that came in the back door, and then put them away out on the shelves so customers could access them. And the way the groceries came in, they were mixed on a pallet, taken from the pallet to a cart, and then the cart was taken out on the floor of the store. And because there was no order to the products that were on the cart off the pallet, I had to go all over the store into different aisles, to put products up on the shelves. And so I would say to the assistant manager, it would be better if we could sort, what came in off the truck into aisles, so that I could just take everything that belonged in aisle 1 or aisle 2 or aisle 3 or aisle 4. I could be in one aisle at a time, and I could put everything away that belongs in that aisle. And the assistant manager looked at me and he said, "It's not your job, to re-engineer how we do this. We've been doing it this way for a long time. We're going to continue doing it the way we've all been used to and trained, to put our groceries out on the shelves." So, okay, fine. So a week or two goes by, and I'm doing things the way they've historically done them. And I come back to the assistant manager after about 2 weeks, and I said, I really appreciate it if you could let me try, to at least sort all these groceries back in the back room, get them into piles, and put them on the cart and just go aisle by aisle, because I'm really disrupting our customers that are coming in, and they got a cart in the way that's unloading groceries and putting them up on shelves, and it's inconvenient. I got to move the cart out of the way when they're looking for something that's right there. And he said, "Master Schulze," he said, "I just want you to know that this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. And this is how we will continue to do it." So at that stage of my life, and candidly, I'm like 14 years old, I said to him, "I understand. I disagree. This is something I no longer really feel we should be doing." And he said, "Well, what does that mean?" I said, "Either we're going to give this a try, or here's my apron." And he said, "Well, give me your apron." I said, "Fine." Took my apron off, gave him my apron, and checked out. I put my time card in the card slot, checked out. I'm walking out of the store without my apron on, and a really good friend of mine is up at the front. He's carrying out groceries. He says, "Where are you going? Your shift's not over." I said, "It's over as far as I'm concerned. I just quit." And of course, that was like, "You can't do that. This is a big job. It's an important job. It's paying like $3.60 an hour, whatever it was at that time." But there was an important lesson learned here for me. And that is the importance of listening to people whose opinions and or whose backgrounds or whose experiences and whose specialization is different than your own. Because, from people who actually are doing the work and willing to, and given an opportunity to feed back ways in which this job affects, what they do, how they do things. If you listen carefully, it really can help you make better quality decisions. And so for me, one of the real benefits I think that I grew from it is how important it is to listen to other people. And I could go on for hours talking about the benefit that brings to the quality of decision making, because listening to people's views and experiences on how they think about and have acted on similar kinds of challenges really helps shape a better quality decision. So it was very meaningful for me.
Absolutely. And you talk about this not only in the sense of decision making, but you make it a point to address the importance of culture within a workplace. What are some active steps that you took in growing Best Buy and that other leaders should be taking in developing this kind of inclusive and empowering culture?
So let me play off of the last answer, which had to do with the importance of listening to other people to get viewpoints from many others. I learned from that what was really important was actually empowering people to feel they could make a difference and add value in the decision making that was going on in the company. So empowerment for me was really the key word that I used, especially to build trust with employees, because when you vest empowerment to them and listen carefully to what comes back, you build trust in the form of, gee, he or she really cares about my opinion, or they're really listening to what I have to say. And they're really factoring that into the decision, they're trying to make on the challenge we face. So another byproduct of why that's important is really the subject of innovation. Because a person who's willing to listen and regard others' opinions, it's amazing how either improved process takes place or procedure takes place, or the marketing and addressing new customer groups take place. How do I reach new customers that can enrich the touch points that my company offers, whether it's a service or a product sale? So it was really important for me, to build a culture of empowerment where employees really felt cared about, their views were important. It came to the surface at a point in time in which we got together to talk about things. And I think to this day, which is 54 years later, our company's culture is every bit the same. It's every bit as strong as it's been from the very beginning. And we value people in a really highly an important way.
Yeah, I think as our culture is evolving, I think that's growing more and more important. And especially in my generation, I know that everyone wants their voice to be heard. So it's so cool to hear about a big corporation that is places such a high value on everybody, not just the higher ups, but everybody in every store matters. And I think that's,
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Another question I have for you is, throughout your entrepreneurial journey, you faced numerous struggles, ranging from the 1981 tornado, a cutthroat battle with your competitor, and even mortgaging your own home for company funding. What are the most important steps you took to make it through these times of trials and tribulations?
That's just a great question. Thank you for asking it. This is where you really learn to practice what I say and have always felt, and certainly experienced through my career, is the most important elements that are required to succeed in any initiative or any effort. There's really three words that sum it up. Purpose. What is it I'm trying to get done? Passion or conviction or excitement for what that means to me, and perseverance. If it's important, if it's the best thing for the customer, if it satisfies the kind of direction and objective that I have, then it's worth doing. And so the confidence that you get from staying true, to your own beliefs and to the passion that you put into it, it really is the ingredients, that you need to succeed. And I've always put the most important objective or target in front of me was what's really best for the customer. And if I continue to stay true to that mantra, which was my mantra, I essentially believe that I would not go wrong. I could not fail. If you just stay focused on what's best for your customer, any and all circumstances, don't let profit drive it. Don't let convenience drive it. Don't let somebody else's viewpoint over what else is important drive it. Do what's best and right for the customer, each and every time, affecting every decision you make. And lo and behold, you just keep getting more successful and more successful and more successful. So I honestly believe that that's really the true north. And if you believe in yourself, if you empower the teams you're working with, and you continue to hold steady to this win-win philosophy, I'm going to do what's best for the customer. And if and when I do that, I'm going to win. Long-term, short-term, maybe might be a little bit different, but long-term, clearly, I will win. And so I just pound it home every time I can. Be passionate about something you care deeply about and never give it up.
Wow, I think that is such an important perspective to have in entrepreneurship, especially these days when people are kind of shifting focus to what's convenient and what's easiest. I love that you touch on, it's not about convenience, it's not about what's easiest, it's how do we best meet the needs of those who we're trying to serve. So
Exactly.
I really appreciate that perspective. If I could, I'd like to flip that question a little bit and ask, what is the most important thing that people did for you in that time to support you and the entrepreneur's needs?
Well, the neatest part of it for me was my ability actually to call together groups of people, break them into segments, put challenges up on the wall, and essentially say, this is what we're facing as a company. And because we're trying to grow, we want to keep our mistakes to a minimum. We want to stay focused on what's important. But we've got bigger competitors coming at us, or we've got manufacturers who don't think the way we're trying to sell their products is the best way to sell it. There was a myriad of issues that we faced, compensation issues for employees, discount pricing for new competitors that were coming on into the marketplace. And I would bring together 100 people, and I would make sure they were somewhere between 8 and 10 different disciplines or experiences in the company, whether that was marketing or merchandising or supply chain or finance or accounting or human resources. There was a litany of skill sets that our company had at the time. And I would pull them together in groups of 10, break them up so that there was always this diverse area of thought process in the group. Here was the challenge. We would take it out across 10 different groups. We give the groups 45 minutes. We would say clearly, appoint a scribe and write down everything that comes out. And one of the key learnings in that process for me was, because obviously I knew what the process was, I essentially was prepared to, as one of 10 in one of the groups, come out with the first 4, maybe 5 areas that I thought were important to address the challenge. And then I'd hold back 1 or 2 just in case things bogged down. And lo and behold, once we got started and everybody felt comfortable chipping in, the bottom line happened that the information, the feedback, the thought process just flowed like water. The scribe couldn't write fast enough. We would have something between 25 and 35 items on the board by the time the end of our 45-minute session came together. And lo and behold, when we all got back together, and convened as a group of 100, and group by group by group, we would talk about, what we came up with, the similarity, to all the new and different interesting things that were brought up by people of diverse backgrounds were so overpowering that it just helped us make better decisions in everything that we did. And so that was kind of my management style. Delegate, obviously invite people to contribute, listen carefully to those contributions, and then frame your ultimate decisions around these challenges with the context of what comes from the different people who weigh in on it. So it was a real learning experience, obviously, for everybody.
Absolutely. I love that you touch on, again, just the importance of everybody. It takes the whole company really to get together to make a change. Thank you for that.
Yep.
My next question for you is, you've made it a point, especially later in your career, to support entrepreneurial education with the Schulze School of Entrepreneurship and the Schulze Innovation Scholarship.
Mhm.
The Schulze Innovation Scholarship and the Schulze School faculty have absolutely changed the trajectory of not only my academic career, but countless others. What are your hopes and aspirations for these students that you support?
Well, thank you for that, because that's another great question, and candidly, I think it starts with hoping that each and every one of the Schulze scholars will develop this mental attitude about being in control of their own destiny. Nothing greater, nothing better for an entrepreneur, than to determine and discover, what the direction is that I want to take in my life. What do I think I can accomplish? Learn what I will need, to succeed. And then develop this level of confidence in your own personality, in your own passion, your own drive, to reach a level of success that most people, probably even close to you, would not think it is possible. And I have to admit that, in this day and age, there is greater challenges than when I started First Sound of Music and then Best Buy, because my field of competition was really mostly mom and pop type retailers and small regional chains. It was when direct mail advertising, came out, and price pressure was finally applied to the marketplace as a whole. Transshipment became more commonplace as the Federal Trade Commission lightened up rules around what you could sell, where, to whom, and at what price. Well, now, of course, it's online. Pretty much anything and everything you'd ever want is available in an online environment. So you need to be extraordinarily competent, about what that means for convenience to customers in the way they shop for products. So I guess I come back to the fact that the two most important things I would want every one of our scholars, to really master is the subject of business analytics and marketing. Because the best way to succeed in your own business, as you would attempt to bring it up from, its humble beginnings, to even if you're initially engaged in working with a larger company, that clearly offers students the opportunity, to get some experience in areas that they want to grow or manifest or get better at. It's really for them an opportunity to analyze carefully. So what's going on in this business, or what's going on in the environment where I want to start a business, and what are the attributes of what I will compete against, and how will I compete against them, and can I do it better than what it's being done today? And normally that's an engagement. I tried to buy something from this company. It was a terrible experience. I couldn't find what I wanted. They couldn't get what I needed. I couldn't get it shipped where it had to go. When I got it, it was the wrong product. It was the wrong color. I found out later the price was wrong. I mean, there's all kinds of issues that inspire you to say, gee, I can do better than this. And it's in the doing better than that, that you develop these areas of opportunity, these little niches that you can expand the seams and move into, differentiate from what pre-exists. But you have to be mindful of the fact that these companies that clearly are trying to dot every I, cross every T, and serve every customer, clearly in most cases, well, but not in all cases, you have to know that they have strong consumer franchises, they have deep pockets, they have educated management, they're highly experienced. So it isn't like the mom and pop days, when clearly we were growing First Sound of Music and then Best Buy. So you need to be extraordinarily skilled at understanding, how can I break through? How can I make a difference? How can I be better? And I contend the two subject areas of important need, candidly, I wish I would have had even when I was growing both Best Buy and Sound of Music, was the ability to analyze information, facts, data, details that were all around community and environment, and then figure out how can I attract more customers? How can I get different customers in to access the product or service, that I'm bringing to market? Because you have to innovate and you have to create new pockets of customers, and that's how you grow your business. So those two subjects in school right now, clearly be a master, because it will help you invariably, whether you start, working with a large company somewhere to begin your career and gain some additional experience, and or whether you plow right into beginning your own company. Know the facts, understand the data, the detail, the competition, the environment, the opportunity. The more you know, the more successful you'll be.
Wow, that is a lot, and that is so insightful into just the future of what business could look like, and starting from the bottom, but also meeting everybody's needs and kind of studying where you can go and should go, kind of building your own path with this kind of data point. So thank you for that. I think that's really insightful. And lastly, before we wrap things up, you've given lots of words of advice for entrepreneurship students like me. And again, I can't thank you enough for the foundations that you've put in place in order for me to act on your words of wisdom. But do you have any words of advice for those who have already started their own business and maybe with COVID have found themselves in a rough spot or are just starting to flourish?
Okay. Well, that's another really excellent question, because this is another dynamic that unfortunately is taking a huge toll on our nation's economy. However, having said that, I believe that that's really the mark of a true entrepreneur, is one who says, so this is a bump in the road. This is a hurdle, and I'm going to engage everyone I know and everyone I've come in contact with, and everyone clearly that's been in the same area of business application that I have. And I'm going to talk to them clearly and ask questions about how they think about, these impediments, and how to think, if you will, past what's going on today into what you're going to need to know tomorrow. And I'll come back to those three words, that I attempted to try to land, I guess, meaningfully to one of your earlier questions. And that was, if you have the passion / excitement to clearly focus, on what's important. And the purpose obviously is, hey, the business I'm trying to build, I'm trying to grow. I've been successful in spots. I know I can be more successful. I'm not giving up just because my door is closed today. I know it'll be open at some point tomorrow. I know if I talk to enough people, if I engage in a meaningful fashion, that I can in fact find ways, to fight my way through this. And fight your way through it has to become part of the DNA of an entrepreneur. You just don't give up. You just do not give up. You do persevere. If what you're trying to do for yourself and your employees and those people around you, your family, you're going to find ways to keep things alive, to keep things moving, find alternate ways, to do business. And I applaud Best Buy right now, because the leadership there has said, well, gee, to start with, we have to close our stores because these stores obviously are something that, could spread, this virus. And so the rules came out that the stores have to be closed. Well, okay. We are, however, an essential service. We sell computers, we sell networks, we sell printers, we sell all kinds of product that people will need to have, to homeschool their children because the schools were closed. So you had to figure out, how can I get around essentially the inability to show customers what it is we have to sell? So we have to rely online. How can we deliver that product more effectively, more efficiently to customers quickly? And so that's when we went to curbside delivery. And we set up teams of people that actually would take phone calls, affirm that the product's in the store, that we'll have it ready for them. They can drive right up to the front door. We'll put it right in the trunk of their car. And so surprise, surprise, even though the stores were closed, we found with 1/3 the employee base, we could in fact do 80% of normal business.
Wow.
Just because we found different ways to deliver what we did to the customers that we served. And so it's a matter of getting outside the box and thinking of better, efficient, effective ways to serve your customers. And I really believe that that's a DNA thing. That is a never give up. This is the best possible thing for the customer. I'm going to deliver it in a ways that, you know, they'll appreciate, and I'll be successful in doing it. So it's really all about not giving up on what you believe, you know, is the true calling in your life. I can make the experience of what I'm planning to do better for my customers than what pre-exists. And I'm putting my heart in it. I'm putting my soul in it. I'm excited about what it means to those that engage with me. And I'm building networks of people that I can talk to and share. There's no substitute for engagement. There's no substitute for networks. Clearly, you need to keep them alive, keep them focused, engage meaningfully, share what you know, what you think, what you believe, ask them to do the same. And it's amazing the solutions that come to your challenges and your issues and give you new, better, fresh ways to think about things. And that's what I hope the Schulze School clearly is able to do. I've asked Laura Dunham to be sure that our school not only provides angel funding, but provides mentoring, that obviously provides the kind of associated networking that our students need, faculty participation. We don't want to cut the cord when you graduate and you're out on your own. We want you to come back, feel welcome, ask questions, ask tough questions. Let people know, you know, what are the hitching points? What are the hurdles? What are the obstacles? Where am I stuck? You know, how can I free myself from this? And it's with the network that I would hope that the alumni at St. Thomas provides, the faculty provides, members of the business community provide in their mentoring roles, and the financial support that we provide when you walk out the door, that net at the end of the day, you've got plenty of strings attached to you, and you need to know you can engage them. And it's in that engagement, I think, that you'll overcome any and all hurdles. You just will, because you have the desire, you have the excitement, you have the passion, and you're not giving up.
Well, thank you for that. And I can't stand behind the Schulze School enough. I think that not only the professors, but the faculty, the environment that is there is, they push you to innovate, they push you to be thinking, and they push you to not only come to them in times of success, but when you feel as though you might fall, they are there to surround you and lift you up. And I can't think of a more welcoming community for an entrepreneur. And I think you have put some profound words out there for today. I'm hearing grit, I'm hearing empathy, communication, leadership, drive. These are the fundamental and core pieces to an entrepreneur. And it's clear that you've experienced each one and come into each different phase at different points in your career, which is, I'm sure, why they call you the ultimate entrepreneur, is what I'm hearing. So thank you so much. Thank you
so much, Grace. I really appreciate it. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all the Schulze scholars. I know that they're going to be successful. And I would hope, you know, that nobody feels that it's awkward, you know, to take a job with a high quality company that can provide you additional learnings. Because one of the things I preach to my grandchildren and my children is the importance of being a lifelong learner. You really want to be open to learn new, better, different, interesting things during your entire lifetime. And so if you feel by preparing to take on the opportunity to grow your own business can be benefited by a role or responsibility with a high quality company that's willing to help you see, understand, and know more about the trials and tribulations and challenges, you know, that will come up in your business pursuit at some point. But although they'll probably want to hang on to you instead of letting you do your own thing. But candidly, be an entrepreneur. Don't be afraid. Entrepreneurial behavior, is a bad thing, because I was fortunate to have, gotten a lot of it in the military service. I was fortunate to have gotten a lot of it as a manufacturer's representative. So I knew the lay of the land. I understood the relationships between the vendor and the retailer. I could put these seams together. So it helped me an awful lot, to have that, preordained, if you will, experience. So sometimes that's an important step. And I would imagine too that many of the faculty, acknowledge the fact that in the right place, at the right time, with and for the right person, that can be an added benefit in what you need to know to succeed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time today. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate sitting down with you and hearing your insights and your advice. And thank you again.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. Thanks for the opportunity. I enjoyed meeting you a little more personally, not so much at a distance.
Me as
Thanks,
well.
Grace.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Be well.